Howdy, guys, and welcome to Cliff Notes, and welcome to night number 57 of the Overnight Feed recaps for Big Brother Season 27. A good Wednesday to y'all. All right, it's Wednesday. Tomorrow's going to be the eviction. We're starting to see things ramp up a little bit in the house yesterday and last night. A little bit more campaigning going on from everyone. Just as a reminder, Keanu's HOH doesn't matter at this point because he won't be breaking a tie this week. He's been pitching a lot for Vince, but as far as official duties, yeah, he's done with his job. On the block, we've got Vince and Ashley and Michie. I'm not sure that any one of them three feel completely safe going into the blockbuster comp and the vote tomorrow. So we've seen some campaigning taking place from all three of them. In my opinion, right now, Michie's probably in the most danger, probably needs to win the blockbuster comp. Ashley probably is the safest, although an Ashley Vince vote still would be very interesting. But Michie definitely in the most danger. All right, let's talk about the feeds that took place yesterday afternoon into the evening itself. Again, a lot of campaigning. Normally, sometimes Tuesdays aren't quite as busy. And we certainly had some off time, some non-game times going on, but we had some conversations as well we need to talk about. So let's start off with the conversation we've got going on between Michie and Kelly. Michie is telling Kelly that she feels pretty good this week going into Thursday, as good as you can feel while you're on the block, that she really feels like she's got the votes versus Ashley. And she thinks that she might have them versus Vince as well. So not perfect, but she's feeling like she should be able to survive even if she doesn't win the blockbuster. Not sure that's necessarily the case, but Michie is telling this to Kelly. Kelly, in turn, is telling Michie, saying, hey, look, you've got my vote to stay. I would like for you to stay. She says, certainly versus Ashley. If it's against Vince, I'm going to talk to Vince. And, if he did some kind of crazy something and convinced me, then I guess I can't say definitively, but she says, I'm going to be straight up and honest with you, Michie. And right now you've got my vote. He's only got the rest of the day. I don't think it's going to change. I'm voting for you to stay. And so she's saying, I don't believe that. I think that's just her leading Michie on. And later she's laughing about it, telling Keanu, saying, yeah, I told her she had my vote. Ha, ha, ha. So yeah, Michie does not have her vote. We've got a lot of people last night trying to convince Michie that they've got her vote, that she is absolutely safe. And there's a reason for that we're going to cover. All right, so we did have Kelly telling Michie she had her vote. We've got Ashley and Rachel talking. They're thinking that Ava would probably vote out Vince over Ashley, which is a good thing. Ashley is saying that, hey, if Vince was to stay, besides the fact it could mean that it's because I'm going home, beyond that, she says, if Vince was to stay, he and Keanu and Morgan and Lauren, they could be a dangerous foursome in this house. They could control a lot of what happens in this house. So a little bit worried about that. She's also saying that if Vince does go, on the other hand, if he stays, he could be part of a strong foursome. If he goes, on the other hand, that Lauren would probably get closer to Ava, which is the direction that Ashley thinks it would go. Lauren would get closer to Ava, which is good for Rachel and Ashley, since Ava could be close to Rachel as well. So they're thinking that would be a good thing. Also, they think that once Vince is gone, Morgan's kind of a free agent, cut loose a little bit, and more likely that Morgan would then stay with them also. So they're seeing some benefits to having Vince gone at this point in time. Rachel is saying that Michie really doesn't have anyone in the house at this point in time, and I think that's true. She's got people saying the right things to her, but she doesn't really have loyalty from anyone right now. After they finished the conversation, they got a little bit worried. They were talking, and I think they were in the bathroom when they're in the bathroom when they're having this conversation. They think they see feet underneath the door. They start trying to keep track of where everyone was at, and Lauren was outside soon after. So they're thinking that Lauren might have heard some of this conversation. I don't know for certain that was ever the case. We never saw Lauren responding to it, so I think maybe a false alarm. They didn't say anything too horrific about her anyway, so probably not the end of the world. But they are worried about people eavesdropping and things like that. We had during the day some game talk, but a lot of napping around and sleeping, and they're not even calling it meditating anymore. They're just doing a lot of sleeping, and Big Brother's letting them get away with it. Man, they were strict during my season, not so much anymore, but lots of sleeping around a little bit. At one point, and I can't remember if it's Ava or someone else. Now, Ava's been feeling a little down. I think the slop and have-nots just catching up to her. So she's feeling a little sickly. But everyone else taking advantage of the downtime as well. And someone said this must be what the house feels like at the very end when it's final three, final four, final five. Yeah, the house gets very big, very empty, and very lonely in some ways when you get to the very end. It was a strange feeling. They're feeling like that now with everyone sleeping as much as they are. All right, so we've got that. We've got Kelly and Lauren talking a little bit. Both of them agreeing that they want to work with Vince, but they just can't keep sticking their necks out for Vince while he does all of his stuff, and then suddenly he's in danger. And Lauren has already used a veto on Vince. They just can't keep sticking their necks out for him. They're not in a hurry for him to go. They're just not going to keep doing extra to try to save them either. Kelly is thinking if it comes down to vote, if Vince does not win Blockbuster, she thinks that Vince would stay. But Lauren is worried about Ava's vote because Ava has expressed to Lauren that she just maybe doesn't completely trust Vince. It does seem like Ava could be yet another week, potentially a swing vote for the vote that takes place. Maybe that's one of the reasons she's feeling a little stressed out and a little sickly right now as well. But yeah, Lauren's not as certain about Ava's vote. And with that, not as certain that Vince would actually stay. Kelly is wanting Ashley out over Mickey if it comes down to it. Which most people want Mickey out, but Kelly's saying, hey, maybe we could send Ashley out instead because Ashley is so tight with Rachel. And again, Mickey has no one. So there has been a little bit of an undercurrent of, do we go for the big target or do we go for the person that maybe has the connections and all of that? So we'll see how that goes. All right, we got Ava and Will talking about Mickey, and they're saying that their votes against her aren't going to change. Ava certainly is voting out Mickey no matter what. Will is saying, yeah, our votes aren't going to change at this point. They're saying that Ashley, they're going to save Ashley if she's on the block. Definitely vote out Mickey. If Ashley's on the block and Mickey's come off, then they'll vote out Vince. So Ashley good no matter what, Mickey going home no matter what, depending on the Blockbuster comp. Ava is saying that she's not so comfortable with Vince and Morgan that yes, she'll save him over Mickey, but the two people in the house that she still doesn't really feel that comfortable with are Vince and Morgan. So she's a little bit cautious about those two. Ava told Will that she really thinks there's no scenario in which he doesn't make top three. She says at some point, if you and I are on the block against each other, they're going to save you over me. It's just the way it's working. And she said, I'll be happy. I'd be happy to have you get to final three, but I think you're going to make it, Will. A little too early to be considering that, but you got to dream and think, right? All right, we've got Will thinking, talking about who the next targets could be. He's saying if Vince was to stay, if he doesn't go home this week, could someone take a shot at the lovebirds was the word he used. Vince and Morgan, he said, we got out Kat and Riley, or at least they're gone. So we broke up one showmance, and now we got another one, Vince and Morgan. Would someone go after the lovebirds if he is still in the house? All right, we've got Keanu talking to Morgan and telling Morgan that a Vince Ashley vote likely comes down to Ava as a swing vote. So he's recognizing, and so a lot of people starting to put pressure on Ava. At one point, the house guests got cornholed. Now, the backyard has been shut down. Because the backyard shut down Tuesday morning, they're thinking it's some big exotic HOH competition. It's not. That's when we always had our backyard shutting down. It was Tuesday morning, 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. Regardless of what kind of HOH comp it was, we always lost the house then. I think they just got spoiled by a few of the weeks earlier where they had them until much later in the week. Now, it doesn't mean anything about what the HOH is going to be, but they're wondering about that. But because the backyard is shut down, they got cornhole and they're having to play it inside. They've got it set up in that long hallway between the kitchen and the bathroom. They're playing it a little bit and enjoying that. All right, we've got Rachel and Will and Ashley and Mickey are all talking. They're thinking that Morgan seems to be trying to get closer to Keanu just in case Vince is evicted, that there could be some ulterior motives to suddenly. Remember, Morgan and Keanu were mortal enemies, going after each other. Morgan said, I'll do anything to get him out. And Keanu, anything to get Morgan out. She was his target when he put her on the block. And now suddenly they're realizing these two have been spending a lot of time together. And so they're a little bit worried about that. They think Morgan's doing it just as a bit of protection in case Vince was to head out the door, that she's got someone that can provide some shield to her to some degree and work with her to some degree. All right, we've got Mickey. Mickey's worried about this. Talk a little bit more. She says, Morgan made a sandwich for Keanu. She's never done that before. Obviously, she's trying to kiss up to him. And the sandwich in question, Morgan had made a bagel sandwich, and I don't remember who she made it for. Kelly, perhaps, but she made a bagel sandwich and just talked about how much. I think it was Kelly. Kelly liked it, and Keanu says, "Oh, what's a bagel sandwich? I don't get it." And she's like, "Here, I'll make you one as well." So she made him a sandwich on a bagel roll because he'd never had it before. I don't think there was anything too deep about it. Now she is kissing up to Keanu a little bit, but I don't think this was anything more than just, "Hey, I got a food you may want to try." But of course, Mickey is immediately saying, "Oh, she fixed him a sandwich. She's never done that before. That ought to tell you something, guys." So she's talking about hashtag SandwichGate, I guess, at this point in time. Oh, Jasmine and Tucker have someone some food controversies to compete with from a few seasons ago. Anyway, yeah. So Mickey's pointing out that she made us a sandwich for Keanu, and that's got to mean something, right? All right, we've got Ashley saying that Morgan is she's saying, yeah, Morgan's on our side, but she's talking to Keanu so much and everything. She is definitely on the bottom of our side. And they're saying, yeah, but she doesn't realize that she's on the bottom of this side over here. Rachel is worried about this relationship. She's worried that you could end up with Keanu and Kelly and Morgan and Vince and Lauren. They could be a dangerous five. So we got a lot of people worried about who's going to work with who going forward after this week. So yeah, Rachel saying, yeah, you've got those five. They could control the house. They absolutely have the votes to do whatever they want if these five stay solid together. They're agreeing that at this point in time, getting rid of Vince weakens the other side, weakens Keanu. That really Vince needs to go. I think it's Ashley at one point says, yeah, Vince is the glue to that group. If he's gone, everything else starts falling apart. So this group very much wanting Vince gone on Thursday night. All right, Morgan apparently told Ashley that Mickey had said that she would, a lot of telephone here. Morgan told Ashley that Mickey had said that she would vote to save Vince over Mickey if it came down to it. No, that Mickey had said she would save Vince over Ashley. Sorry. Ashley not happy to hear this. She says something about, just when I think maybe I could work with Mickey, she does something like this again. So yeah, Ashley not comfortable with Mickey at this point in time, and with some of the campaigning that Mickey's doing, some of the promises she's making as part of that campaigning. Will is saying that Mickey will owe that it's over with Mickey. That if Mickey was to vote against Ashley at this point in time, it's over for both him and Ava. I think he says something about, yeah, she would be dead to me at that point in time if she votes against Ashley at that point in time. Will and Ashley are telling Rachel that Kelly had promised Mickey her jury vote if she votes to save Mickey this week. So again, a little bit more of that earlier conversation that, yeah, it's not just that she said that she's got her vote, or that the other way around, that Mickey had told Kelly in exchange for voting to save her this week, she would give Kelly her jury vote if Kelly made final two and Mickey was on jury. So again, they know that Mickey's trying to make some deals as she tries to campaign in this house. All right, soon after that conversation, we've got Rachel and Vince talking to one another. Rachel is warning Vince that Mickey has been planting seeds about Vince and Morgan and Keanu working together, i.e. the bagels, the hashtag bagel or whatever. She's just planting a lot of seeds about y'all three being tight with each other. So you need to be warned about that, Vince. Vince saying, whatever. She's saying that I don't think I can work with Keanu going forward. She's going to say that, and I get it. But yeah, Keanu's happy. I'm happy to have Keanu fighting for me and trying to save me this week. But yeah, I'm not going to work with Keanu earlier. He had told someone, I think Lauren, a couple of days ago, he said, Keanu thinks that I'm just going to forget about him putting me on the block this week. He said, that's a bad read. I will not forget. And he's telling Rachel the same thing. I'm not working with Keanu. Mickey can say what she wants. I'm not working with Keanu after the vote on Thursday. All right. Soon after that, Vince then passes on this conversation to Keanu saying, hey, Rachel's wanting to know if we're working together. She's a little bit nervous about that or wondering about that. Vince is also warning Keanu how hard Mickey has been gaming this week, that she's really telling a lot of people a lot of different things, trying to protect her position in the house. Keanu thinks that if Mickey's on the block, that if Mickey thinks that she's safe on the block this week, no matter what, that maybe she'll ease up. So keep that in mind, because Vince is going to run with this idea that as long as Mickey feels very comfortable about her position come Thursday, maybe she won't push so hard with some of her campaigning. All right, we finally had the Judges Alliance meeting together. This again is Vince and Morgan, Rachel and Will and Ashley. The judges have met. The main thing that comes out of this meeting is all of them in agreement to vote out Mickey. Mickey, if she does not win Blockbuster, has to go. Ashley's bothered that Mickey is lying to Morgan about voting to keep Vince instead of Ashley. Will is saying that, again, Mickey will be absolutely dead to him if she was to turn around and vote out Ashley and save Vince. He does not want that to happen with Mickey. So, yeah, a lot of Mickey bashing going on during this particular little meeting of the Judges Alliance. All right, I've got Vince talking to Mickey, telling Mickey that if he wins Blockbuster, he'll vote to save her over Ashley. Yeah, if I get the chance, Mickey, of course I'll vote to save you when it's you and Ashley. Now, I think part of this may be trying to get her to commit to voting for him in return if she comes off the block. But also, this is, again, part of this plan that Vince has to start making Mickey feel very comfortable that she's staying no matter what. So if she thinks that Vince is going to vote for her, that's one more vote that she can count on. One more reason that she should think that she's going to be safe on Thursday. So Mickey is saying at one point that she kind of wouldn't mind having Vince win Blockbuster this week, because if he wins Blockbuster, then she doesn't have to decide between him and Ashley in terms of who to save and who to go home. She's saying, yeah, if you win it, then I'm still on the block. I think I'm safe, and then I don't have any blood on my hands for having to vote out Ashley. She says that's an ideal situation, is Ashley going home and I having basically nothing to do with that. Would she throw the competition if it's the Blockbuster comp? If it's close enough and she sees that she could win it, but if she doesn't, then it then falls on Vince. Would she let Vince have the comp because she thinks that she has enough votes to save over Ashley? I don't think so. I certainly wouldn't do that if I was Mickey, but we have awareness of all the conversations that Mickey doesn't have. And in this crazy season, maybe she would be willing to do it. So yeah, Vince certainly planting the seed, and it seems like Mickey is at least feeding into a little bit of saying, yeah, maybe me not winning Blockbuster isn't the worst thing in the world. It kind of is, Mickey, as you may find out tomorrow. All right, she's saying that she'll never put, Vince is saying he'll never put Mickey up on the block again until, way late in the game. If there's just a couple of us left and, the numbers required, then, you understand. But right now, Mickey, I'm not putting you on the block. There's no way I'm going to do that. Mickey is implying, she doesn't say it outright, but she's implying that she would say Vince over Ashley if it came down to a close vote. I'm not believing either one of them, but they're just telling each other what they want to hear. All right, we've got all the house guests. They played cornhole a little bit earlier. Now they're all sitting around the kitchen table. They're playing, I think they call that big booty game. I think Rachel did that while clapping and doing stuff on the table. And eventually they switch over to word association games. They play that for an hour or two. And it was nice to see. Absolutely zero game talk, but everyone participated. And everyone seemed to be having fun. Kelly was a little down a few times, but everyone having fun while they're playing the game. It's nice that everyone can take a break and just do something. These are the moments a lot of them will remember after they're out of the house. I know some of my downtime moments in the house, I still remember with fondness, where everyone got to do something. So yeah, they had a few hours breaking away from the game for just a little bit. All right, we got more. It goes back to gameplay pretty quick afterwards. So we got Morgan telling Ashley that she knows that Mickey won't vote to save Vince over Ashley. Mickey's saying that, but she knows that's not the case. And she's saying it just makes her mad. Not that Mickey is not that Mickey wouldn't do it, but the fact that Mickey's won't just tell Vince that, hey, Vince, you're going home. If it's between you and Ashley, you're just going home. Ashley's irritated that Mickey's saying, oh no, I would save you over Ashley. And she would prefer that Mickey just be outright and truthful and all that. She said she doesn't do it. She just lies about everything. She lied to all these other house guests that went out the door, said they had their votes, Riley and Zach and Adrian. She's just lying to Vince yet again. All right, Kelly is talking to Vince about maybe keeping Mickey over Ashley this week because that would weaken Rachel. She had mentioned that earlier today. She's saying it again to Vince, saying, hey, If we get rid of Ashley, that's a main person duo for Rachel. And she's saying that would certainly work. And she says, and the other benefit is Mickey then remains this huge target in the house. So it's not us. People keep on going after Mickey instead. So she's got some reasons that maybe it's not so bad we get rid of Mickey. But Vince is countering, saying, I get it. But on the other hand, Mickey has won multiple competitions in this house. He said Ashley only won one, and it was the first week. She hadn't done anything since then. Do we not get out Mickey while we can, while she's on the block? Because otherwise, she may win somewhere down the road when we want her out, and we won't be able to get rid of her. So he's countering that her comp skills outweigh the fact that she could be a big shield and that she would weaken Rachel is what his thinking is. I don't think that's going to get anywhere. I do think that Mickey goes home, but Kelly's certainly floating this around a little bit. All right, Morgan told Lauren that she doesn't want to win HOH on Thursday as long as Mickey goes this week. She said if Mickey doesn't go home, then different situation. But as long as Mickey goes home, and it looks like if I don't win HOH, it would be you or Vince, then Lauren, I'm happy to throw the HOH. I'm not in a huge hurry to win it. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that one. All right, we've got Ashley and Mickey and Rachel. A lot of non-game talk. They're sitting around. They're talking about who they will and won't talk to after the season, who's going to be on their chat list, who they're going to follow on Instagram. They're talking about Instagram followers and just considering the fame and fortune that may or may not follow them after they get out of the house come the end of this month. All right, I've got Morgan talking to Rachel and saying that she and Mickey and Jimmy kind of spilling the beans, saying, hey, Rachel, just so you know, me and Mickey and Jimmy, we had a final three way early in the season, but we did have a final three at one point in time. She says, but now Mickey just keeps holding that over my head. Mickey keeps coming to me and saying, oh, we promised that we would never vote each other out. And, you know, so you're going to honor that, right? Morgan is saying, yeah, that was a long time ago. And Mickey's done a lot of things since then. I'm not honoring that agreement, but Mickey thinks that I am. So again, Mickey's thinking that maybe she's got Vince's vote. Maybe she's got Kelly's vote. Maybe she's got Morgan's vote to stay. All these votes that Mickey thinks that she might have. Could that cause her to throw Blockbuster? Surely not, right? Well, never say never this season. All right, we've got Vince and Lauren talking. Vince thinks that Mickey goes home if she doesn't win Blockbuster. But he says, but if she does, then if she does win Blockbuster, then I don't know that I'll have the votes versus Ashley. So I'm a little bit worried about that. Again, this is Vince talking to Lauren. He said, I'm not sure I would have the votes versus Ashley because Mickey had said that if she was to actually save me, that she would upset 5 people on that house. And we're talking about the Wills and the Avas and the Rachels and the Morgans. Just as remember, Will said she's dead to me if she votes to save Vince over Ashley. Well, Vince is realizing this and saying, yeah, I don't know that I've got the vote, Lauren, from Mickey, because she went on and on about how she'd make all these people mad if she voted me over her. So a little bit worried about that. Vince is thinking, though, that what if we could convince Mickey, kind of the plan we've already seen getting put into play. He's saying, what if we could convince Mickey that she has the votes to survive? Maybe she would throw the Blockbuster comp. So he's verbalizing it now to Lauren as an option. Well, poor Lauren. She heard this conversation a few days ago, this plan to convince Morgan to throw the veto or to use the veto on Vince. Now she's hearing that, oh, we're going to convince Mickey to not win the Blockbuster that would pull herself off the block and throw it instead. Lauren is receiving all these crazy plans that are going on that Vince is passing on to her. So yeah, he's telling her about that. And Lauren is like, okay, we'll see. Lauren is saying if she was HOH, she would put up Mickey and Rachel on the block. And then she says, and maybe, I don't have anything against Ashley, but maybe Ashley just to keep Ashley from pulling Rachel off the block if she was to win the veto. And she says, I told Morgan this as well. And Vince is saying, well, that's good. That'll help you build trust with Morgan if you're passing on that kind of information. And Morgan will like hearing that you maybe be going after those people. She won't have an issue with that as well. Lauren is saying that Vince really needs to go talk to Ava right now because as far as she knows and she fully expects right now, Ava's planning to keep Ashley over Vince. And if you want to change that, you better go talk to her. Don't think it's going to work, Vince. I truly don't. Ava seems very resolute that she is keeping Ashley over Vince. But Lauren's saying you need to go talk to her if you want to try to get Ava's vote. Vince is saying as far as who he's working with going forward, it's not Rachel, it's not Keanu. He's telling Lauren, saying, look, my goal going forward is to protect two people, you and Morgan. That's it. I no one else. Maybe I'll work with them, but I'm not going to save them. I'm not going to. You are the two people that I want to go forward with in this game. They're telling each other that they're each other's number ones. It's not Morgan and Vince, it's Vince and Lauren that are number ones to each other. I hope Morgan doesn't get word of this. She may have a different opinion on it. All right, we've got Lauren and Ava talking a little bit. Ava's saying she's vocalizing what a lot of us who watch the live feeds probably are thinking as well. Ava's saying every day in this house is the same, talking on and on about votes, blah, 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 vote this, vote that, who's voting this, who's voting this. And she said, then go to bed. You wake up the next morning, everything is completely changed. It just, every single day is exactly the same. It's like a little Groundhog Day for 3.5 months. In some ways, she is correct. Ava's saying that she doesn't mind if Vince stays. She doesn't really have anything against him. But at the same time, she does feel indebted to Ashley because Ashley had her back earlier. I assume that's the vote when Ava was on the block, that Ashley did not vote Ava out. I think that's what she's talking about. But basically, she's saying, I feel like I owe something to Ashley. So, yeah, Vince, don't have anything against him, but if he has to go home versus Ashley, it is what it is. So she talks about that. She says she would feel bad about voting out Vince, but she's also saying that it's kind of his own doing as well. Because he put the cat on the block last week. If he hadn't done that, things could have been completely different. So, yeah, Vince has a lot of work to do if he's going to convince Ava to support him over Ashley. I just don't see it happening. All right, we've got Rachel and Ashley talking, kind of comparing notes a little bit later in the evening. Ashley thinks that Keanu wants Ashley out over Vince. She says, I know Keanu wants me out. He wants to save Vince. Rachel initially is disagreeing, but as Ashley talks about some people who have told her that in different ways, it seems like Rachel's maybe thinking that may be more of a possibility than she thought. Ashley is saying, I probably need Mickey's vote to stay versus Vince. If it's me versus Vince, that means Mickey's off the block. I probably need her vote. And I think she'll get it at this point in time. She's also saying that she may need Kelly's vote also. If it's versus Mickey, I think she probably would. But again, we've heard Kelly talking about maybe Ashley's bigger target because of the relationship with Rachel. So that one's a little bit undecided. Ashley is saying that Keanu said that Rachel wanted to vote out Ava, and that's gotten around a little bit. And Rachel's disagreeing. She says, no, I talked about putting Ava up on the block is just because I didn't want you to go up on the block, Ashley. That's what I said. Now Keanu's saying I wanted Ava out. And he's just saying things. That's not what I said. That's not at all what I meant either. Rachel is saying that if Mickey does vote out Ashley, Rachel's going to come for Mickey. It's not just Will who's going to be very upset. Rachel will be coming after Mickey as well. Ashley not feeling real comfortable after this conversation with Rachel. It's one thing to have someone say, yeah, if they send you out the door, I'm going to come after them so hard. Well, you're still out the door. So Ashley not feeling nearly as well at this point in time. She's talking about, she's realizing how important it is that she win the blockbuster competition on Thursday as well. All right, we got Vince and Lauren and Ava. No game talk. They're talking about past seasons, things they want to achieve in the house. Zingbot. I knew Zingbot was going to come up now that they all know they're making jury. Sure enough, I just want to be here for Zingbot. They're talking about that and OTEV and winning a prize and all the things that you look forward to when you're playing a game of Big Brother. No game talk that I heard. All right, after Ava leaves, Lauren shows Vince her secret hiding place for her veto hiding spot. It's one of the drawers in the have-not room that she was able to spring open with a bobby pin. She's showing that to him. She's saying, don't tell anyone. He's saying, my lips are sealed. I'm not saying anything at all. Vince is saying that his spot for his hide-and-go veto would be behind the TV monitor. That's where he's planning to hide it. They won't let you do that. I don't remember what the exact rule was, but production had a list of places that you couldn't hide your hide-and-go veto for safety reasons, for production reasons, things like that. They are not going to let someone hide anything behind that, the TV monitors, where you run a risk of damaging electric components and things like that, or getting electrocuted. They won't let them hide it there. But he's saying that's where he's going to hide it. And Lauren's saying, all right, well, I'm going to hide mine in this drawer that I found. And so they're talking about that. At one point, Vince says, yeah, if I can't do that, maybe put it under a couch or something. People don't typically tip over couches when they're doing that. Well, yes, they do. Absolutely, they do. noticed I'm a little blurry here. Sorry about that, guys. We're just gonna proceed on. All right, Morgan and Keanu talking forever in the bathroom to close out this evening. Keanu's talking about really, really blurry. Let me get that autofocus going. All right, it is what it is. Morgan and Keanu are talking forever in the bathroom, several hours, and middle of the night. Everyone else is in bed. Keanu's talking about all the reasons that he put Vince on the block, the votes that Vince had cast, his nominations, etc. Keanu's worried as well, talking about different players in the game. He's thinking that Will could easily coast to the end. He's not made anyone mad. He's not doing anything, but he'll just kind of coast to the end. He actually compared Will to Victoria from season 16, saying, yeah, you had Cody and Derek, and they were both there with Victoria. And it's like, well, why wouldn't I take Will to the end? Because I can obviously win against them. So a little bit worried about that. He doesn't think that Will and Ava will both make it to the end. At some point, he thinks they're going to get put on the block. One or the other will get sent home, but then the other one could easily coast to the very end at that point in time. They're talking about Riley and Rachel, saying that this whole deal again about was Riley coming after Keanu or not. So they're talking about that. And this whole idea that Rachel had said that Riley was coming after Keanu, and that's why he did that stuff. Keanu is telling Morgan, saying, he may have said he was going to nominate me just because, but lots of people say things and they don't really mean it. And, so yeah, it still was a betrayal that she turned around and went after Riley like that. So he's throwing out some reasons why he does not want to necessarily work with Rachel going forward on that one. Keanu's saying that he and Vince and Riley had a final three earlier in the game, but not to tell anyone about that one. He's saying at one point, he's telling Morgan that Ava wants Vince to stay. Well, no, we actually know it's the opposite, but he's telling Morgan this. I don't know if it's because Keanu believes it or he's just trying to pump up Morgan a little bit. But Ava is saying that the biggest thing, more so even than the vote, and would she keep Vince and all that, he's saying the main thing with Ava is she just doesn't want to have to choose between Vince and Ashley. As long as Mickey's on the block, Ava's fine, and she'll vote out Mickey and save either one of the other two. If Mickey comes off, that's Ava's worst thing, that she doesn't want to have to decide between the two. He is worried that Ava is lying to him and would actually vote out Vince over Mickey. Yeah, she would. Amazing. Keanu's growing in its game. He actually is starting to recognize that sometimes people may lie to you when they talk to you. He's saying, yeah, I'm worried that Ava, she told me that she'd vote to save Vince, but could she be lying? Yeah, absolutely. But Morgan is saying, look, Ava hates Mickey. There's no line there. She will vote out Mickey. If it's the other two, we'll see. All right, Keanu's saying that if Mickey goes, at that point, they are going to be in a fantastic position. He is suggesting, implying, talking about his side, and he's basically inferring that it would be him and Vince and Morgan and Lauren and Kelly together. He says, and we've heard these names thrown out before. He says it would be easy for us five to control the rest of the season, to pick off the other four house guests at that point in time, which was Will and Ava and Ashley and Rachel. He said, we could be the final five. We just need to get Mickey gone this week, Morgan, and then all is good. Well, Morgan's fine getting Mickey out. So they're both on the same side of this. But they do that. They finally call it a night. Everyone in bed by 4:15 or so. So a late evening, lots of conversations going on. Mickey, all of them campaigning. Mickey maybe starting to feel like she's safer than she actually is, thanks in part to this plan that Vince is pushing forward. And I'm sure we'll see a lot of that going on today. Will it be enough to convince Mickey not to try for the blockbuster comp? No, I don't think so. I think she'll still try for it, and it'll all be for naught, but we'll see. We'll find out. Guys, have a fantastic Wednesday. We've got the episode on tonight on CBS. We're going to get to see this veto ceremony and the big blow up that took place. I'm looking forward to that. And then I'll be back tomorrow morning to give you a recap on what happened as we go into Eviction Thursday. Until then, guys, have a great one. SKD 143. Cheers, my friends.